Hey everyone, again, welcome back to the show. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Today we're going to go step by step on a few things, and you're going to see me later on or even in previous videos where I do the same thing over and over because not a lot of people can catch it on the first try. And I know that it's a video so you can watch it over and over again, but sometimes it just helps, you know. For me, it takes me a while to learn things and to put it all together. Um, but this is just a little helpful, recap of some things and some things you might haven't seen yet because you haven't looked at all the videos yet. So let's go ahead and get started. So here we go. First, we start off with the basic square, which is the reason why I do a square is because a lot of the comic book heroes are very square jawed. They're very manly, very testosterone filled. So we have the basic square like this. Okay. Basic square can draw every single comic book character known to man, including the ones that you don't think would fit in that square. Fit in the square. I've had people go, well, can you put Groot in there? And I have. Can you put Rocket in there? So I have. How about blah blah blah? And it doesn't matter. You can always use this square as a basic structure. Now you put in the cross guidelines. Those cross guidelines is what will make your basic guidelines for your face. Like for example, using the guideline, you have your eye line, your nose line, your mouth line, and then your chin, and you go a little bit past the center line, and you have your ear line, which is, if you notice, the ear on the top of the ear basically starts in the middle of your eye. So it's not above and it's not below. It's right about there, right in the middle. And the angle changes. So, when you're drawing it, you got to think of what kind of angle and what plane you're on. And we're going to get into that later on in videos in the future. So, and then again, you got your chin line here and your basic structure of your neck. Now, your neck will come from a little bit farther out because, again, you got to have a big, strong neck to carry all the weight of the world. So, the design details. Now, I made this character into uh, Captain America. But technically, I mean, you can make him into Wolverine, right? If I can not, there we go. You can make him into Wolverine. You can make him into Batman. Basically, they all fit in the same thing. Uh, you can make him into Flash, and so on and so forth. But all basic character designs start off with the square, center lines, cross guidelines, basic face structure, and then you can basically put anybody in there, including the Hulk, all that stuff. Okay, so you got that. Now we go into basic body shape. The body shape is an offset cross guide, which is basically the cross, right? But instead of having it in the middle, like a actual like a plus sign, it's more like a cross that you'd see, like a religious cross. All right. So let me bring this up so you can see a little better. For me, I like to put a circle around there, and I actually went over this in a different video, but this, again, just a refresher, right? Then you have the this right here would be your collar, or not, I'm sorry, your trap area, right? This would be your beginning or the bottom of your collar, which would be the start of your bicep, your chest muscle. I don't know what the chest muscle is. Say it to me in the comments. I keep remembering it. That would be your rib cage. Because right here, this circle basically makes it so that way you have your traps, your, oh God, what are these called? For Christ's sakes. Chest muscle. And so that way you build on the shape of your first ab, which is a little bit bigger because it's going over your chest, your rib cage, and then your ab muscles. Your the side muscle here is what makes that V shape when you see bodybuilders, whatever. And then you get into your oblique muscles. Okay, but this is where you would start your shoulder into your bicep, tricep, forearms, and of course your hands. But right around here, right around the sixth or one, two, three, right around the third uh, ab going down, that's where you start your waistline, right? And then you got your private parts, man. There we go. Sharks only attack you when you touch the private parts. Now, if you don't know where that's from 51st Dates. Anyway, so that's where it'd be. So that's the basic structure of the human body, male perspective. Later on, we'll get into females because it's a little different. It's very much different because of the structure of the female body itself. See, guys have very squared off, when females have more curvature. Like their chest is here, their waist would be here, and then their hips. So that's where it differs. But we'll get into that later. Now, using the basic body in motion, like basically anybody that say I can only draw stick figures, well, if you can draw a stick figure, that means that you can literally draw any kind of body shape and form and multi-use, or what we like to call bodies in motion. So, for example, this is a stick figure right here, right? Because you got your T, you got your chest area, your muscles, all that stuff. It starts off with a stick in the middle. You curve that stick, or you make that stick a little bit more dynamic so that way it looks like he's floating. Or this one, he could be like Superman, right? Man, I don't know what's wrong with. There we go. It could be like Superman, or whatever superhero you want it to be, with a cape, man. No capes, darling, no capes. But on this one, he has a cape. So, you know, all it started off with was this, and that's it, right? Because now look, you have his arms, his back muscles, and that's how you do it. Okay, and again, stick figures, because that's how you get your basic shape. And then we're gonna go into a little bit more on how you can use the dynamics of body motion in comics, like in panel, to make a nice flowing panel, or a nice flowing page. So here is what I like to call a sack of potatoes. The human body has mass, so it can only bend so much, or it can't bend more than a sack of potatoes. The corner ties act as the links or the limbs, as in this is wherever it's facing will be where the limbs would be going, right? Excuse me. The direction of the ties help determine the center and the positioning of the body, and how it's used this easy technique to get a good feel for the motion. Now, keep in mind, this and this is the same thing, right? But if I use the limbs in different ways, right, then it changes everything about the look and feel of the structure. Because that center body, or that center line, determines, well, and the limbs will determine, where it goes and how it looks. So one of them can look like he's going upward, right? One of them can look like he's going down, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's a sack of potatoes. And again, if I'm going a little bit too fast, put it in the comments. But also, you can just go ahead and pause it. Draw something. Pause whatever section that you need to work on, and we can work on it together, or you can work on it separate. Now, this right here, we're gonna come back in just a second, and we're gonna go over what the Z formation is. So, be right back.